Alright, what's up YouTube? This is Ian from Team Nominated Aggression, and the guys and everybody just left. We've been working on a lot of content for you guys, and right here I got my deck, the Chaos Dragon deck. It's a really fun deck, really OTK based. It's really fast. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely one of my more preferred decks, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you my profile of it. I'm going to start with a lot of the 1-of power cards in the deck. You run one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon because it summons any dragon from your grave. Solid card. One Dad Dark Arm Dragon because your graveyard is heavily manipulatable and there's a lot of darks in the deck. And you can almost always make sure that there's enough to summon Dad at almost any point in the game. One BLS for there's just one Dark and a Light for BLS. BLS self-explanatory is really good. Two Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos Sorcerer's in here. It's a level 6. It banishes like BLS does. It's really good against a lot of the cards right now, like Winda and stuff. And it's level 6, so it's like pretty good combo with the other cards in the deck. It's just a solid card. One Gorz. I find only one Gorz is necessary. It's an attack trap, and I have more in the deck, but only one Gorz is necessary. A big beater is good and all, but with so much field clear and so much removal, I feel like one Gorz is only necessary. I run into the Chaos Dragons. I run triple Light Pulsar. He's an inherent summon. One light, one dark. He gets himself out. Level 6, along with whenever he's destroyed or sent to the grave, he summons out a dark. So he summons out Red MD or any of your dark dragons that are in there. Really solid card. Run him at 3. He's consistent as any other card. He's like really consistent. Two Dark Flare Dragons. Dark Flare Dragons in the deck. Because it's like a foolish burial for your dragons. You ditch a dragon, send a dragon from your deck to your grave, and then banish a card. Any card. So like you can banish Fire Lake. Like I would run this at 3 if you didn't have to ditch the dragon as a cost, because sometimes you don't really want to ditch a lot of your dragons. But it's a really good card. It sets up your Eclipse Wyvern plays, and one Eclipse Wyvern because there's 2 searchable targets in the deck. If there are more targets like a Envoy of the End, yeah, if that card was ever back, then you'd play it. But one Wyvern's fine. You don't want to mill it with no targets and then show your opponent your deck, because then they know your tech cards and it gets really bad for you. One Caius. One Caius is because Dark Flare and Light Pulsar 5 and 6, and Caius is 6, and you run the Tribute Fodder because you run Stormforth, along with the next card I'm about to show you are really good for tributes. But one Caius, he's a dark too. The Baby Dragons, 2 Black Dragon Calla Serpent and 2 Wyvern Buster. They're good for rank 4s, for synchros of 8s. They're also good, you special summon this and then tribute for the other things, and they still get their effect, and they get the opposite one. I find 2 and 2 the most consistent out of all. Sometimes they're dead in hand at the start if you don't have a right mill. 3 Raiden. Raiden is like the thing that really sped up this deck recently. It's an active, you summon it, you mill 2, and then at the end phase you mill 2, but most of the time, level 4 tuner, it's gone off the field because you'll synchro with the Wyvern Buster, or you'll synchro with Light Pulsar, Chaos Dragons. It's such a solid card. It's so good to start. And, you know, Light Swarms in a mill deck. 2 Lyla. Lyla's in here for Spell and Trap Hate, along with being a mill 3 at the end phase. It's Lyla. It's really good. I would never take Lyla out of the main deck, even if Skill Drain's kind of like a thing. 1 Card Trooper. I personally only want 1 as of right now. Like, you mill a good amount with your other cards, and I find just 1 effective. I only have 1 Ultra too, so I like Rarity whoring this one up. But it's a solid card. It's Card Trooper. Everyone knows Card Trooper. The fact that it's an Earth, that's just my biggest issue. The triple Tour Guide, double Scarm engine. You do this engine, so you Tour Guide for Scarm, overlay to Dante, mill 3, and then get a Tour Guide at the end. It's free cards, and not even that, you can get Alucard or some other like rank 3 that are on. So that's a really good engine. 2 Veilers, your hand traps. It's also a light. It's good if you mill it. It's good against the Tellarknights. It's not that good against it all. It's pretty good against Burning Abyss. If they start Tour Guide, you stop the Tour Guide. If they don't have any other plays. But yeah, a Veiler's pretty good. And then my other hand trap, 2 Ghost Trick Jack Frost. This is my favorite tech card of the deck. Just sometimes there's one monster in your opponent's field, like Leo, anything big like that that's just terrorizing. You flip it face down, and you do all your stuff next turn. Because this is a very OTK explosive deck. If that one card is giving you trouble, you flip it down, summon like Red MD, Dad, Beals, everything on the field in one turn. That's just how explosive the deck is. And then 1 Plague Spreader. I only run 1 now. I found other cards to be more useful from this, although I would never take 1 out. It gives you too many options to good synchros and very OTK potential decks, so I'm keeping 1 Plague Spreader, but yeah, Plague Spreader is just pretty good. On to the spells, I run 2 Monarch Stormforth. They're in there for the Kai'Sa, for the Light Pulsars, sometimes the Gors. Like, I'll tribute one of their monsters and one of like my Baby Dragons for Gors. I've done that before. It's a pretty good card. It's like free removal. 2 MSTs for Vanities and for Skill Drains. Mostly for Vanities, because Vanities are pretty disruptive. Along with the fact most of your deck's inherent summons, so unless they call the Vanities right at the start of your turn, or they can't like do it in response to you banishing a Dark and Light, so it's better than it is, because sometimes people are really late on it. Because they always want to do it in response, like how it is. Like, if Altair comes back, or Shaddoll Fusion's activated, they always want to do it in response to you neg a card. And then I run 1 Regeki and 1 Dark Hole for field clear. I only need 2 of them. The Dark Hole's pretty good, but Regeki's even better. It just destroys your opponent's field for nothing. And field clear for an OTK deck. That's pretty good. 1 Soul Charge, because you have so many monsters in the grave, it's not even funny. Soul Charge is almost always live. It's just really good. I did play it at 3 when it was at 3. 1 Charge of the Light Brigade, sometimes a 1-card win. Mill 3, add a Lightsworn. It's such a good card. And then 1 Lore of Darkness for consistency. Sometimes you just need to draw the cards you need for the OTK, and the Lore of Darkness really helps. That's it for the main deck. And now into the extra deck. I'm going to start with the rank 3s. 1 Dante. Dante is so good. It made this deck so consistent because Tour Guide is a 1-card, basically card trooper, that then, if you use Skarm, you can then add Skarm to your hand and use it to ditch with Light Pulsar fodder. So then you get a Tour Guide again. It's just too good of a card. And Mill 3, 2500. It's fantastic. 1 Alucard. Alucard's for Spell and Trap Hate. Along with the fact, fun fact, people don't know this, and it surprised some people. If Alucard dies when there's a Jack Frost in the grave, I get a Jack Frost back, and that's a free hand trap. Another reason why I like Jack Frost over like Tragger Gors is because sometimes you can get him back with Alucard, because Alucard is the back row baiter, or just destruction. 1 Leviarch is a heavily banished deck. Sometimes you get Raiden back, you get Lila, Skarm, depends on what you need really. And 1 Engineer for defensive plays. I don't really go into this too much. There's been times when I suspect my opponent has something really good, and I'll go into Mech Equip. But yeah, Mech Equip. Rank 4 is 1 Extraction Knight. It's the only rank 4 I run. Field clear and a light monster is pretty good. I don't find the need for rank 4s with the Torgrind engine too much. Dante in itself is amazing. So yeah. Into the 6s, 1 Plutonium 7. This card is so good. 2 6s, and you get like BLS back from your grave. You get Dad. You get something that's in the grave that you can use to potentially OTK. Plus, it's an OTK monster in itself, being a huge beater. It's just such a good card. 1 Gauntlet Launcher. Again, OTK enabler. Destroys 2 cards. Well, 2 monsters your opponent controls, pretty much, because it's not limited to once per turn. Just a really good card. 1 Photon Strike Bouncer. In case I don't have enough to OTK, but I have enough that if they were if I were to negate an effect with Bouncer, they'd be in a really risky situation or lose the game entirely. There's been a lot of times where I leave my opponents with 500 health, and I'm like, alright, Bouncer, try something. And they can't, because Bouncer. 1 Go-Yo. Go-Yo is your 6 of the deck. You only make it with Plague Spreader in level 4, but it happens a lot, and Go-Yo is pretty good. 1 Black Rose for field clear. 1 Scrap Dragon for destroying cards and destroying your opponent's cards. It allows you to, like, you have a lot of level 8s that save themselves. You also get Light Pulsar effect. You get the Baby Dragons effect and other effects. So most of the time you go +1. One Beals, because Beals is, in my opinion, still a really good card against decks that can't deal with it, and I feel it's just too efficient to not at least run, or at least try to run. So one Beals, one Thought Ruler, really efficient right now. Anything that targets him you can negate. Plus, when he destroys opponent's monster by battle, you gain life, because a lot of times your field is clear, and you'll take a couple damage before you really OTK. So he really helps that if you're going into a grind game. One Stardust Spark, for defensive measures, it's your 8. It's if you can't go into Beals, like if you use Raiden and a Baby Dragon, really good. And then last one is level 10's Leo. Leo's self-explanatory. He's the best level 10 in the game. Yeah. So that is my deck profile for Chaos Dragons. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, comment, subscribe. We definitely got a whole bunch of videos coming at you here soon. We literally spent all of today doing that, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. See you, man.